Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the Entrepreneurial Lunch and Learn offered by the Lawrence and Field Center for Entrepreneurship at Baruch College. I'm Gary Smalls, the program coordinator here at the Field Center. The Field Center for Entrepreneurship is a multifaceted division at Baruch College, offering free services and programs for the entrepreneurship community. Today's Lunch and Learn, which we're really excited about, is a webinar. It's presented today by Caitlin Herring from the Academic Partnerships Department at Wix. So Wix provides a world-class platform to over 200 million users worldwide, empowering anyone to express themselves and build their online presence. So whether you're an entrepreneur, a designer, a developer, musician, photographer, restaurant owner, you'll find specialized features to create a professional website and manage your business. So thank you so much for being with us here today, Caitlin. And please feel free to take a few minutes to tell our audience a little bit more about you before you start your presentation.
All right. Thanks, Gary, for such a warm welcome. Hi, everyone. Caitlin joining you from Wix today. As Gary mentioned, I work here on the higher ed team. So I spend my days with students and student entrepreneurs like yourself, helping everyone, be successful by having an online presence. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I have a short presentation where we're going to just take you through some best practices, and then we'll look at a couple of examples just for some inspiration. And then I'll spend the remainder of the time introducing you to the Wix platform and how you can get started, how you can begin building your website, how you can work with our templates. And then I'll wrap up just by sharing a couple of other resources that you can use on your journey to building a website. All right, so before we kind of get into the nuts and bolts, I always like to set the stage and really just provide context as to why it's really worthwhile investing in yourself, in your business, and building out a website. And we're going to have a conversation today that really can be applied to either developing more of a personal website, or you may hear me refer to as a portfolio, essentially a showcase of all the great work that you're doing at Baruch, your talents, your skills, as well as introducing the topic of building more of a business website. So I'll kind of interchangeably talk about personal and business websites, since we probably have a mixed group here, folks with different goals. But honestly, a lot of these best practices apply to both. And again, setting the stage here, why it's important. Of course, a website's going to allow you to really showcase whether it's your academic work, or if you're a business owner, your products, your services to your core audience. So that's your clients, customers, hiring managers, whoever you're trying to reach. It's really important to be able to have this showcase. It's also really helpful as a way for you to build a network and to allow people to contact you. So we'll talk about different ways you can kind of add that type of communication element to your site, whether that's through social media or contact forms or chat. You'll have all of these different options with Wix. And then finally, I always like to remind students that having a website, again, either as just a student moving into their professional life or as an entrepreneur, this is going to set yourself apart from the competition. So it's really going to give you a leg up and really help you, be successful. So brief intro to Wix. Gary already did kind of an amazing job, but I'll just recap that we are a cloud-based web design platform, free to use, and you can create just about any type of website. And you don't need to know how to code to build a successful site on the platform. Everything we're going to do today is using our drag and drop feature. So it's really user-friendly, and you don't have to really have any prior experience to create a professional site. So I always find that the best way to kind of bring Wix to life is through examples. And this is one of my personal favorites. This is from a graduate at Parsons here in New York City. This is her portfolio site. And I'm just scrolling down her homepage here, and I just think it's a really creative, out of the box way of showcasing not only her work as a fashion designer and an illustrator, but just her personal brand, her style, her aesthetic. And it's also a great representation of what's possible using our drag and drop features. These really cool scrolling effects are all done using drag and drop. No coding is used to create a site like this. So it's something that's achievable for all of us. And then of course you can navigate over to her menu, dive deeper into her portfolio, and also click to learn more about Ivy and connect with her. Okay, so really well done. And we'll take a look at some more. This is just, kind of one example, one approach, but really creative and I think kind of inspirational. Now, on the flip side, as I mentioned, we have a lot of users on the platform launching and managing businesses online. This is, again, one of my personal favorites. This is Celebs on Sandwiches. This artist does exactly that. Creates prints and cards, which is about any, celeb and any sandwich. So great for gifts if you need something for somebody. But you can see here the entire e-commerce or the entire shop experience is managed using our Wix Stores application. We'll talk more about business solutions and apps that you can use on your site to manage whatever type of organization or business that you're looking to launch. So now that we've seen Wix in action, let's just go over a couple recommended steps you should take before building your website. First and foremost, you want to identify your site goal. So whether you're building a portfolio and your goal is to have a professional home for your work, or you're looking to launch a blog to share your knowledge, or start an online, shop or store. You want to make sure you have a clear goal because this is going to determine the content, pages, and features you'll include on your site. And in order to achieve that goal, you really want to have a clear call to action on your website. You'll hear me also refer to this as a CTA for short. CTA is just simply direct your visitors to what you want them to do. So if you are building a website for your portfolio, your call to action might be something like download my resume or contact me. If you're building a store like the one we just saw, your call to action is probably going to be something like buy now or shop now, right? You want to, drive visitors to take an action to purchase. Now that you have that clear goal in your CTA, the second step is to really begin to think about your content. And this is really probably the hardest part in the process, and it's going to take some time. So you really want to curate your materials in advance, things like having quality images or videos, writing any sort of site copy. So if you're creating a personal website, you probably want to write a short bio or about me statement that's going to be featured. You also want to think about your site structure. How are visitors going to navigate through that content? Okay. This is just an example of a content checklist, more business focused. All right. So other things you might want to, include in addition to information about your products and services. Maybe you have some testimonials, FAQs. Maybe you have a description about your team. For both a personal or business site, you probably might have some adjacent social media that you want to feature. So you want to have those links ready to go. Again, doing this in advance is just going to help you down the road and keep you really focused once you start building your site. And then as you think about organization, a sitemap is a really helpful tool. You can kind of just sketch out what some of the primary pages or sections of your site will be, as well as any secondary or sub pages. And then the third and final step here is just to think about branding. And whether it's your personal brand or the brand identity of your business, you really want to be thoughtful about what is the distinct look, feel, and voice that really is going to make people think about you as an individual or your particular product or service. All right. And all of the design elements you're looking at here on the screen, your tone of voice, the tone of your writing, the colors you choose, if you have a logo, all of these should be representative of your brand. Okay, so if we look at another example, this is a nonprofit organization called Heroines. You can see right here, before we even scroll down, there's a call to action to learn more. So it's an invitation to scroll down. And then we're greeted with their mission. You can see some more CTAs to donate, become a member. But they've done a beautiful job branding their site. You'll notice a consistent color palette, consistent typography or style of font, a consistent style of images. So this is all, real life photography that's being used. So really, beautiful. And as you move from page to page, that same consistent look and feel appears. So consistency is key. We'll talk about little things you can do when building your site to really make sure that your design stays consistent and looks professional. Now I have a ton of additional examples here, and also worth noting that I'll be sharing this presentation with Gary and team. So if anyone wants a copy, I'm sure he can include it in the follow-up or make it available to the group today. Some more examples of businesses built on the platform. It's a beautiful jewelry company, skincare brand. You'll notice no site looks the same. I also have in here a handful of student portfolios. This student even created a podcast and a blog on their site. So if you're looking to maybe, become a content creator, know that you'll have a lot of tools at your disposal to do so. This is the Wix blog. Another application that you can easily add to your site. So you can see students, take all different types of approaches. They also champion a lot of their hobbies or creative pursuits. So this individual is a photographer. You might have a kind of a side hobby you want to create a home for. Another great way to use the platform. All right, so hopefully that kind of gave you not only a little inspiration, but also just kind of introduced you to some helpful best practices. Now we're going to switch gears and we're going to start working with the Wix platform. And I'll quickly walk you through how you can begin by setting up your Wix account. Here in this presentation, I've kind of provided you with the steps that you'll go through to set up your account. So you'll start here at wix.com. Just open up a tab in your browser. And on our homepage, you'll see this Get Started button. When you click that, it'll prompt you to create your account. You'll just need to provide an email and a password. You can also, use your Google credentials. And then Wix will just kind of walk you through a couple of questions, really just to better understand what type of site you're looking to build. Things like, do you have certain features you want to add? You can answer any of these. You can also skip them if you're unsure. Do you have any experience building a site, or is this your first time? And then you'll be presented with different ways you can create your site with Wix. So looking here at the split screen, you have the first option over on the left, which is to build your site using Wix ADI. So in this scenario, Wix will ask you a couple of questions and then essentially create the site for you in just a matter of minutes. And then you can make, some adjustments as well. The second option over here on the right-hand side is to start with a template. And that's what we're going to do today. And that's what I typically recommend for students. It's just going to give you more control over your design. All right, so that's where we'll begin. So I'm just switching tabs here. And we're now kind of in my logged in account, and we're browsing the templates that Wix has to offer. Now, templates really are just a starting off point. They're essentially a foundation for your site. Everything you see in a template can be customized. So for this template, you could change out the background, the colors. This is a gallery, which you could edit, add your own photos to. Take a look at another template. Totally different look and feel. This one might be kind of more aligned with your style. But again, everything you see here, you can edit, you can add pages, remove pages. Of course, adjust all the copy. And then up top here, you can also browse all the other categories. So if you are maybe looking to launch a new application, here's our tech and app website templates. Maybe you want to create just a landing page for this app that you're building. This might be a good place for you to start. Maybe you're looking to sell online. Maybe you have a clothing business. You can use one of our store templates. And you see our store app is already included. But again, you can customize any and all things here on the page. Maybe you're into photography or music. Maybe you DJ weddings on the weekend. Maybe you want to have a home for all your upcoming events, some of your music. And then you also have a whole category just for portfolios and resume sites. So as a student, again, highly encourage you to think about developing a site to really showcase your work and all the great stuff you're doing at Baruch. Now, once you are ready to start building your website, you're just going to hover over the template you want to begin with, and you're going to click Edit. And that's going to move you into the Wix editor, which will serve as your workspace for designing your website. I'll just take a second to load. Okay. So as I mentioned before, everything you see here, you can easily drag, move around the page. You can resize it. That was that kind of drag and drop feature I was talking about earlier. You'll also notice a floating menu will appear either above or below the element you're looking at. And this will allow you to change the element and also update the look and feel or the behaviors. So let's start here with this image. We'll go ahead and change it. And what's going to pop open is your media manager. Here's where you can upload images, videos, PDFs, all sorts of files that you can want to work with. And then there's another great feature here. It's all the way over on the left-hand side where my mouse is. It says Media from Wix. Here's where you have thousands of copyright-free images, videos, backgrounds in all different categories. So highly recommend using this because you don't have to worry about kind of grabbing things off the internet, not knowing who owns the rights to the image, and there are some issues with copyright. So these are free to use and the library is vast. So you should be able to find really nice assets for your site here. All right, so we've changed our image and now you can, click the paintbrush, give it a frame if you'd like. You can also animate it. So when you see that diamond button here, that means you can usually add some sort of effect. So we can have the image kind of glide or expand. And then if we move over to the text and just hit edit, of course, we can add our own. Play up with the size, change up the font here. And then I'll just take a moment to talk a little bit about color. So I'll click the A button here. This will pop open the color picker. And this also introduces you to the theme that came with the template you started from. So every template will have a color theme, typically 5 colors. You can always add colors as you go. And you can also edit the entire theme, which I suggest exploring. So if you click edit, that's going to pop open your site theme panel over here on the left. And now you have the option to switch out 1 or 2 colors across your site, or you could change the whole theme. And the reason I mention this is because I think it's a really nice way to start to add your own branding, your own personal touch to your site, just by adjusting the colors. Okay, so with 1 click, they're changing across every page of my site. All right, so this has a kind of a new look and feel. Now you can also remove elements from the page. I'm just hitting delete on my keyboard. Now we have room to add more elements. Before we do that, let's just go ahead and save the draft of our site. So I'm going to move up to the top right-hand corner and just hit the save button. When doing so, this will also introduce you to your free Wix.com domain. This will consist of your account name, .wixsite.com, and then anything after that / you can edit. Now there's a second option to connect to a custom domain. So that would be something like yourname.com or your business.com. Just note that that's what we call a premium feature here at Wix. And it would just require you to upgrade to a premium plan. So you can either stick with the free version, which will allow you to do, everything I'm going to show you today. It'll give you the Wix site domain, or if you decide you want to upgrade, you can do so. And actually, I'll share a coupon at the end, which will allow you as a Baruch student to upgrade free for a year. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and click save and continue. All right, so let's go ahead and start adding some new elements to the page. And we're going to look for this plus button over here on the left. This is going to open up your add panel. And here's where you have different elements you can work with. Decorative items, different styles of menus and contact forms. So a very exhaustive list. We won't go through everything today, but I encourage you just to explore what's here and play around with it. We'll begin just by adding a button. And these are important because they're going to highlight your CTAs. And when you want to add a new element to the page, you're just going to simply click, drag, and drop it to the position where you want it to live. All right, and let's go ahead. We'll click change text. We'll add our CTA, which is going to read contact me. And then the second step is to link the button. And anytime you see that chain link icon, it's right here in blue. It's a little tiny, but when you see that, it means you can link an element in Wix to one of the items over here on the left. So in my case, I just want to link the button to a page in my site, specifically my contact page. All right, and then anytime you kind of make some changes or adjustments, you want to see what it's going to look like from the visitor standpoint, you can just kind of move up to that top right-hand corner again, and you can hit preview. And now you can kind of see and test your site as it would be live. Okay, so now that takes us to our contact page. And we can click back to editor to keep working. Now, of course, you could, continue working here on the contact page. You could update the text. You could work with this form here. You could add new fields. However, I want to kind of take us back to that home page and keep building that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop open our menus and pages panel. That's highlighted now here in green over on the left. And this shows you all the pages in your site. So this site that I'm building, based on the template I started with, has 4 pages. Projects page, a resume page. And then here's that home page we were working on. So that's how you can kind of move from page to page. And then you also have the option down below to add a page. So that's here in blue. So let's click add page. And now you know how you can either add a blank page, or once again, you can add a template or a pre-designed layout here. And there's, tons of different categories and options. We'll add this about page since we don't have one yet. Wix will do all the work kind of for you, and then I will just prompt you over here in the panel to give the page a name. Okay, and then we can click done. It's also worth noting that while we're kind of making changes here in the panel, the changes are also automatically being reflected up top here in the navigation menu. which is what we're looking at highlighted here in orange. So this is how your visitors are going to move from page to page. And you can easily, reorder pages here. You can also create like a sub page just by dragging, kind of moving it to the right. So if we click preview, hover over about, now resume is a sub page or falls underneath about. All right, so it's just a little bit about how you can start to customize the menu. Okay. Now, another really important best practice is to make sure that your site not only looks good here in desktop, which is the mode we're currently working in. You see desktop up top here. But you also want to click the mobile icon, which sits next to it, to switch to your mobile editor. And you want to do this pretty regularly, kind of toggle between the two as you're building, just to make sure that your site is going to look, just as professional here in the mobile environment. So you'll probably want to make a few adjustments, space things out a bit. And then you can switch back to desktop. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that while you're editing here in desktop, all those changes get automatically updated in mobile. But when you're working in mobile, any change you make here is just happening in the mobile version. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay, and just a little housekeeping. Gary invites all of you to begin placing your questions in the chat as we begin to prepare for the Q&A. Okay, so terrific. Thanks, Gary. All right, so let's talk about just a few other features. You'll notice this other panel here in purple. This is what we call our add section panel. We've kind of created this intro section here, but you'll notice you can either add blank sections or some templates. This is just a great way to start to really create some content pretty quickly, keep your site pages organized. So maybe you want to add an about section, and you can go ahead and change that section background up. We change the image. Okay, so you can start to fill that out. Maybe you just want to add a blank section. And maybe you want to add some different features here to showcase a portfolio or other content. Maybe you want to add a gallery. You can see all the nice layouts we have here. Maybe you have a nice video or an intro video you want to add. Here, about halfway down the add panel, we have a section called video and music. You can add a single video player. You could add a whole channel. And again, just a drag and drop. Okay, and then you can either upload a video right to your site, or what's probably, easier or more recommended is just to link a video from YouTube or Vimeo. So if you have one of those accounts, you would just drop it in here. You can do an autoplay. And then we can hit preview. All right, so that's how you can start to showcase some of your content. And there's other really cool interactive features, slideshows, really nice layout tools like lists and repeaters. Like we saw earlier, contact forms. and even some really nice decorative items. So if anyone's looking to create maybe a logo, tons of different styles, and you can continue to browse the library as well. Now, last thing I'll just mention here in the ad panel, we saw this being used throughout, the examples we looked at, and it's an important feature whether you're creating a personal site or a business website, and that's to really showcase any sort of social profiles that you use professionally as well. And these social bars make it super easy to do so. So I'll just drag and drop that in. And then you want to set the links, of course, to drive to your profile and also customize which platforms you want to really showcase. Okay, so maybe you just want to showcase those 3. You can also add more. We provide, all the different categories here, different styles. And then you just want to make sure you link them over here on the right. Okay, so now people can connect with you there. All right, so that's some of the basics about starting to create content. Now the final piece I want to just walk through here in the editor is introducing everyone to our app marketplace, and that's highlighted here in pink. So think of this very similar to your app store for Android or iPhone. So we have applications from both Wix as well as third-party developers here. So I always say if there's something you can't find in the ad panel, you might find a solution here in the marketplace. Now, just keep in mind that just like the apps you purchase on your phone, there could be like a cost associated, a free trial period. Just read the fine print as you're adding them to your site. Some are, of course, just free. And then the other thing I'll mention is over here on the left, you can browse all of the Wix business solutions, and that's what we're looking at here. So as an entrepreneur, if you want to take advantage and use our Wix Stores app to sell on the platform, you can add that. We also have our Wix Bookings app. So maybe you're providing a service, or maybe you're doing some consulting or some tutoring. You want people to just book time with you. It's a great platform great application to use. Here's where you can find that blog. Things like our chat app. So if you want customers to be able to just message you, you can add that to your site as well. And I'll quickly show you kind of how these applications work. They all kind of work in a similar fashion. So for example, if we wanted to add an e-commerce function to our site, we would choose Wix Stores, click Add to Site. Wix is going to do all the work in the background. So it's going to add the store page. It's going to add the shopping cart. It's going to add the opportunity for customers to log in to your site. And then it's going to also add a nice panel over here with all of the different tools that you'll need to use to begin kind of updating and, making this storefront your own. Okay, so you can see here, just move this over. This is the shop page it created for you. It just has kind of some sample products and text. But where you would begin would be clicking Manage Products. And that's going to take you to your dashboard where you'll be able to upload all of your product photos. And here's where you can start to add information about what it is that you're selling. Okay, so you could delete all these or you could just replace them. And this would be the same if you were creating, like I said, a booking experience. You would create all of the different options for your site visitors to book time with you. If you were creating events, same experience. Okay, so first thing you would add some images, and then you would kind of start to walk through the product information. And Wix will guide you through everything you need to input to make the user experience work. So things like pricing, product options, what color is the product, And we make it really easy. So even if you put in the color, it's going to prompt you to choose the exact shade. Here you could also do the sizing. You can also track inventory. If you have a subscription model business, you can create a subscription here. So it's a really robust e-com solution. And this is just kind of the first phase of it. Okay, and of course, for the product images and videos, you can, add as many as you'd like here. There might be a limit, but you have a few, to at least include different looks of the image. We'll just replace something with something real quick here. You can also add videos as well. All right, so imagine we've kind of updated the product with all our information. If we click preview, you'll see how quick, your storefront is going to be updated with that information. Okay, and there's a lot we didn't fill in here. And then of course you can adjust the look and feel, so you can change out how this product page is set up, the style of it. Okay, and then again, I highly recommend kind of using this checklist over on the left for your apps to make sure you kind of go through all the best practices and steps, things like, saying where you're going to ship to, connecting to a payment method, which those will vary. We have different options you can choose from and so forth. Okay, so that's just one example of how you can work with an application, a business solution. So depending on your site goals, you'll pick the one that's going to work best for you. All right, just doing a quick time check, about 10 minutes left. I want to make sure we leave plenty of time for the questions coming in on the chat. But I also want to kind of move us out of the front end experience here in the editor and just quickly introduce everyone to the dashboard. So I'm clicking on the Wix icon. This is taking me to the dashboard. You can get here a couple of other ways. But essentially your dashboard is where you have all of your site management tools. So this is, all the kind of information about the site I was just working on. I can go back to edit it by clicking the blue button here. And then over here on the left, you'll see all the different tools that I'll need to manage my site. So because I'm building out a store now, it's going to have all of the tools to help me manage my products and inventory, orders, once the site is live and so forth. And then here in the middle are a lot of my marketing and CRM tools. So things that are going to help me stay in touch with customers. So my inbox, where any message from a customer or visitor is going to come in. If I was using that Wix chat application, all those messages would come here as well. We also have a whole section dedicated to marketing and SEO, so ways that you can promote your site once it's live. So ensuring it's found on Google with our search engine optimization tools, our email marketing templates. So if you want to send out an email blast announcing the launch of your site, we have great templates that you can work from. And again, you can, make it match your brand and edit just like you did your site. Same with social media. This is really helpful, I think, for the entrepreneurs here in the group that are looking to launch their business and really deploy a strong marketing strategy. This stuff kind of helps you stay creative. Maybe it saves you some time as well. And then finally, I'll just mention, the site that we're building isn't live, so there's no data here, but we have a whole section under analytics and reports. So once your site is live, you can actually see, the traffic that's coming to your site, where people are coming from, how long they're staying on the site. So it's really helpful insights to really allow you to make any sort of optimizations as you go. All right, so that's a little bit about the dashboard. And again, I'm kind of just giving you a very high level tour here today, but encourage you to just dig in, spend some time to learn more. All right, before we wrap up, I'll just share a couple of resources and then, kind of open it up for the Q&A. So here in the presentation, a couple help resources. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Starting with our help center. So as you start building your site, you have questions, you want to look up more information about certain product features, support.wix.com. You can search for anything here. Maybe you want to learn more about the blog. You can also connect with customer service here and, speak to someone on the phone at any time. So if you get into like a real technical bind, we have that available 24/7. Another great resource that recently launched is Wix Learn. So if you want to continue learning about Wix after today's session, we have tons of great online courses, short tutorials. Here's one just about how to build your website. If anyone already has a site and just looking to kind of get those advanced design tips and tricks, how to kind of just amplify what it is you have, there's a lot on design here as well. So for example, design your website with some advanced features, things that we didn't have time to get into today, like fold-in animation, sticky videos, reveal illustrations. So really cool stuff for those in the group that, are really looking to kind of, add a little bit more sizzle, if you will, to their site. And these are also available on YouTube as well. So that's Wix Learn. And then also just some FAQs here in case, other questions arise. And then finally, I'll just share with you the free Wix upgrade coupon code for Baruch students. So really, this is meant for the folks that attended today's session. So please don't share it more widely because otherwise, the attendees, there's a limit and, you won't be able to actually use it if it gets shared more widely. So this is for one Wix website upgrade. Put that here in the chat. And it'll allow you to upgrade for free for 1 year to one of the following premium plans. And I'll show you where you can browse those: Combo, Unlimited, Pro, or Business Basic. And the code is good until the end of next year. So nothing you have to take advantage of today. And you can always just use the free version of Wix. This is just an added value. Okay. And just real quick, for those who are interested, to use the upgrade code, here in the dashboard, you'll just look for that purple button. And that'll allow you to browse the different plans. And one point of clarification, if you are looking to launch a business and you want to accept payments online, that's a premium feature. And so you would need to use the code to upgrade to the Business Basic. And that's here in the second tab. Otherwise, if you're creating a personal website, maybe you just want that custom domain, you could use one of the website plans, Unlimited or Combo. Okay, and there's more in our Help Center about, the different plans, and you can see what comes with it. Okay, so again, you'll have access to this presentation. So if you want to look back at the code or information here, you'll have that. All right. Now, with just a few minutes left, I want to make sure to address some of the questions. So let me just head back here to the chat. Okay, so question from Babatunde. I hope I say everyone's names correctly. Bear with me if I, say it incorrectly, and unfortunately, without the mic, you won't have a chance to correct me. But is there a way to save the file to personal desktop? So the actual website files, no, but they'll all be, of course, saved in your account, for perpetuity. So if you create a site and you want to go back to it, a year from now, it'll be in there. All of your, work will be saved in your account. Okay, from Jeffrey, how about making multilingual versions of the same site? Great question. So popping back to the editor, here in the, let me see, settings. Here we go. They always change things in the menus, the engineer. So I just have to double check. In your settings menu here, there's an option for multilingual. And when you click on multilingual, it'll walk you through the steps of selecting the languages you want to make available to your site visitors. Okay, so maybe we'll just select French. Oh, sorry, your site is currently written in English. You want to translate it to French. And you also have the option to auto-translate the site content. Okay, and that's just going to use Google Translate to do a quick version of that translation for you. Okay. And so you'll see here, let's do a quick preview. So now it's translated to French. As a site visitor, I can go to the English version. So that's how you'll be able to translate, Jeffrey. Okay. And there are hundreds, I believe, of languages. So I don't know the full comprehensive list, but in the Help Center, just search multilingual. That'll kind of give you all the current options. Okay, and then in terms of saving your work, like I said, Babatunde, everything will be saved in your account. Tracy, do you have a template for accounting forms? So in terms of forms, there's lots of different forms you can create on your site. So here in the Add panel, under Contact and Forms, there's different categories that you can create. You can also create a custom form. You can also work with spreadsheets. So if you want to, add in, Google Drive form, if you have like a Google spreadsheet or Excel, you can also embed those into your site. So hopefully that answered your question, Tracy, but that's definitely possible. Devon, for tutorials, I mentioned Wix Learn. So definitely check that out, and I'll put that back here in the chat. So for any sort of tutorials, you'll find those at Wix Learn or also the Help Center. Okay, I'm quickly trying to go through all of these. Let's see what else. All right, from Harvey, if you make a change in mobile and later make a change in desktop, in that same area, does the new change in desktop override? So anything you do in mobile, remember that change is just reflective in the mobile version, but in desktop, every change you make there will be reflected in mobile. All right, another question, is there a way to see the background code? So if you are, able to work with JavaScript, you can apply that using dev mode, and that's up at the top here. And you can turn that on, and then you're working with our Velo platform, and that'll allow you to input JavaScript. Okay. I think, Gary, how are we doing on time?
Yep, that'll be the last question, actually.
Okay. I thought so.
Thank you so much, Caitlin, for your time. We are super grateful for having you. Thank you for spending time with us and presenting. We just appreciate you being with us. Thank you for everyone who participated as well. Please be on the lookout for our follow-up email with today's recording. And we hope to see you at our next Lunch and Learn, which is going to be on October 5th, which is entitled Pop Viewers, How a Representation Gap Led to the Creation of the Entertainment Critique Platform. So we look forward to seeing you at the next event, next Lunch and Learn. Thank you and goodbye.